Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Lumio Live. We are so excited to have you here. As promised, every Lumio Live this school year, we're hoping to have different folks from all around SMART, from Lumio, different teachers and educators, our ambassadors, hanging out with us on Lumio Live. So today with me, I've got Lindsay, and I'll let her introduce herself real quick.
Hello, thanks, Mish. Yes, my name is Lindsay, and I work with Lumio in California. And before Lumio, I was an elementary school teacher, and I taught second grade and fifth grade. So I'm excited today to hear what Mish has to share about student data.
We're so pumped to be here with us. Up on the screen right now, I have both of our Instagram handles where we post a variety of tips and tricks on Lumio because there's only so many things that we can tell you in these really quick 10 minutes. So what do we say? Let's get started with today's Lumio Live, which is all about student data, which is really one of my favorite things to talk about. So if you are joining us on the screen, you can join my Lumio lesson live time by going to lumioclass.com, and my code is 181461. And from here, I would love if you join so you can kind of see what it's like as a student, and then I can show you what you can do as a teacher as well. So like I said, one of my favorite things to talk about is student data. And I think it's just such a good thing for us as teachers to really inform our practice. It gives instant feedback for us to really guide our next teaching steps. And so within Lumio, there's quite a few places and activities that you can do that give you that student data. So from a big picture, you've got our response, which is kind of like our quiz function. You can do graded homework. And that's one of the activities alongside Monster Quiz and Team Quiz. And those give you, once that activity is completed, a class overview. So you get the chance to really go over as a whole group, and then you can export those results into an Excel sheet, which is such a good way to review your student work and guide those next steps. What do you think, Lindsay?
I just really love how quick and easy Lumio makes it to get the data. I mean, one click and you're able to see your students and your class and know if they're speeding through or actually taking their time to answer. So I'm so excited to see the different ways that you have that up in your lesson today.
I'm super pumped. And what we're going to dive into is a quick example with one of our games. And there are 3 of the 12 games that we have that also give you the ability to see student data. So we've got Match 'em Up, Rank Order, and Super Sort. Those not only give you the ability to export results, but they also give you a detailed student dashboard. So live time, while your students are participating in a game, you're seeing exactly how they're doing. Like Lindsay said, to see if they're rushing through it, kind of see how they're scoring, and then right away guide your next step. So let's take a look really quick. I've got a quick game here on organelles, so animal cell structure, and this is a match 'em up. So as a teacher, what I can do is click on model activity, and if I need to give my students that structure, I'm able to really quickly show them that, hey, you're going to read each of these tiles and match them up to the organelle. They are quite small, so I always want to remind my students that you can click on those. It does make it nice and large, and then they can just match those up together. Wrong answers will come back and correct answers will go into the tiles. It looks like I've got one student logged in, so hopefully that one student is hard at work. And while we're giving that student an opportunity to give us some data to take a look at, I love doing it in a game like this because it really creates that low stakes environment for the student to give us a reflection of how they're doing. And because not only we're getting that instant feedback, they are too. They're getting the correct answers. It's motivating them to continue. And if they're getting the incorrect answer, they get the ability to reset. Repetition is super helpful. And they themselves can recognize, hey, this is something that I need to continue working on.
Yeah, and doing it in Lumio is really awesome because a lot of students, they've played matching games before. And so it's really easy for them to understand the concept of match it up. And like Mish said, get that quick feedback to know if they're on the right track or if they maybe need to check their notes again.
Exactly. So let's go ahead to view progress. And it looks right now like I've got 2 students that are hard at work, and I can do a quick class overview. So in front of my students, if I wanted to open this up, I can click on show results. And then let's just say we had more students logged in and more students that were done. I'd be able to see the average of how much time everyone was spending, the average score, and then the 5 most frequent correct and incorrect answers. Right from this general view, this is really helpful because I'm seeing that if students are finishing in like 10 seconds and the average score is like 1 out of 10, What do I need to do here as a teacher? Do they not understand? Are they being silly with me? Do I need to reiterate my instructions? Did I maybe not do a good enough job here? There we go. There's populated. See, this is why we just take a moment sometimes. Looks like we've got a 4 out of 8. So before I even continue, I can see that maybe I need to reteach this before we move on to the next concept. So here's what I'm going to do is click on student progress. Now, this is something that I would do on my own, not in front of my students, but just in case I ever forget, it's always going to warn me, hey, you're about to show student names and scores. Are you sure you want to continue? And then from here, I've got my rock stars, Jana and Tisha. I had a feeling it was going to be the both of you in here. Thanks for your help today. I'm going to click into Tisha here and see how we're doing. What I really love is that it does itemize for me each chance that Tisha took here to get those responses. I'm able to see her score individually compared to the class average and the time spent as well. So from here, let's just imagine Tisha got all the answers incorrect. And then I could come over here and see she spent 10 seconds. Everyone else spent 2 minutes. I'm doing that analysis right here, right on the fly. And I know if I need to walk over to Tisha to work with her while everyone else is still practicing.
And it's really great that all of this saves within each Lumio class session, because I know when I was a teacher, I may not have had the time to check student work in the moment, but I can always go back during my planning period and look through each student's answers and see how they did on this activity.
You are so right. Who has time? I was just talking to some teachers last week, and like the teaching day feels so long sometimes, but at the same time, not long enough, right? So right from here, you'll notice that you have this button right here that says export results, and that's going to generate an Excel sheet for you with your student names, their scores, and the questions itemized that you can then sort that Excel sheet to do some thoughtful grouping to see if there's just a few students that maybe you need to pull for some extra practice. And earlier I mentioned our response activity does also give you the ability to review and export results. So just because we're short on time, I just brought in some images so you had an idea of what that would look like. So when the quiz is done, you can review as a whole group right as those questions are fresh in our students' minds, because we know sometimes it takes us like 2 to 3 weeks to get our grading done. So as those questions are right there, top of their minds, we can review together. And if we see, hey, everyone got number 1 wrong, instead of doing that next activity, let's stop right here and reteach this. And then here's kind of a bird's eye view of what that Excel sheet will look like for you to be able to really analyze those results as well.
The color coding in this Excel sheet is my favorite feature. It makes it really easy to analyze the data as a teacher.
I love that. And then last but not least, as Lindsay mentioned, sometimes we don't have the opportunity right on the fly to look at those results. Maybe we're doing that really quickly during our lunch, our prep, after school when we're getting ready for the following school day. So if you hadn't noticed, we have this amazing new feature called Class Sessions in Lumio. If you go to Go Lumio webinars on our website, there is a full webinar you can watch teaching you all about those class sessions. But like Lindsay mentioned, sometimes you've got to go back and take a look. So now you'll be able to go to the tab that says Class Sessions. You can find that exact file, that lesson that you just delivered. Click on review, and all that data is living inside that file. So you didn't have time, you forgot about it, or maybe you've got an IEP meeting coming up and you want to go back and take a look at how everyone did. You're able to click right into here. That work isn't going anywhere. All the contributions that they've made on a whole class whiteboard is shouted out, their quizzes, their games, all that is right there for you. What do you think, Lindsay?
I think Lumio makes it really easy to access student data, and we know that that's so important for driving instruction, right? After class, teachers can review it and decide what those groups look like or those lessons look like for the next day or in the future.
I love that so much. Just as we're helping our students to really reflect on their own learning and motivate them, it really helps us to inform our practice as well. Feedback is such a gift, and data is even more important, and it really helps to drive our instruction to make our students the very best that they can be. So thank you everyone so much for joining our Lumio Live today. Stay tuned for more Lumio Lives to come every single month this school year. It's always the 2nd and the 4th Tuesday of every month. And let's thank Lindsay for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.